Y'all planning for this?
Welcome back, TPR Nation. This is Jamie Shalansky in an episode of Worlds to Conquer, and we are talking about 10xing your practice. And today, I am revved up and ready to tackle a conversation that is guaranteed to hurt the feelings of anyone under the age of 35. We are going to be talking about work, tenacity, grit, and the grind. So many times when people hear the words lifestyle practice, they oftentimes confuse the word lifestyle with the word lazy. Do I have a lazy practice? Am I a lazy financial advisor because I'm intentional about my time? Hell no. But what I am is deliberate and disciplined and hyper focused so that when I am meeting with clients and when I am with my family members and when I am looking to drive profitability in my practice, that has my complete and full attention in the time period that I have given it. Our financial planning clients at Shalansky & Associates, they deserve our full attention and our time and our concentration on their building their financial plan and helping them through all stages of their life. Our family members, the people that we made oaths and promises to when either we entered into a sacred marriage or a relationship, or we watched our child be born or brought into this world or adopted and braced our arms around them and vowed that we would protect and nourish and care for them, deserve our discipline and our attention and our focus when we are not with clients. And my team members, they deserve my attention to the details to make sure we're driving towards profitability, because I am a steward of my financial planning practice. I have a responsibility to my team members to make sure that they continue to get paid, to make sure that they can continue to aspire towards a level of greatness that most of them, when they start with our practice, do not even know that they are capable of. That is my responsibility. So when I tell you that I'm delivering massive value to clients, I'm spending more time outside of the office with the people that I love, and I am committed to being highly profitable in the process, then you know I am not taking any of those factors lightly, because this is what drives me. This is what gets me out of bed and keeps me going every single day, is that we were created to be great. We are the image of greatness. And so today I really want to dive into what is stopping most people that I meet with under the age of 35 from actually achieving a level of greatness totally possible and within their grasp. So let's talk about the 3 ways that we can really move people. And they're important to understand the distinguishing factors between each of these. I learned them probably about 6 years ago, and it was a real awakening for me. I had to have an absolute reckoning with myself internally, because I thought that I was empowered to motivate people. And when I learned that you cannot motivate another human being to do anything, it was a game changer for me. And here's the reason why. Motivation is quick. It's a stimulant. It's a pop of dopamine. It is a little action that makes you go, yeah, I want that too. And normally it's a fear of missing out. We all, I'm guilty of this. Anytime I enter a building where there's a pool, I want to be inside that pool. I love to be in the water. I'm a water baby. And every time I see somebody swim, I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to jump in there. I'm so motivated to do that. But physically remove me away from said pool, and I can no longer smell the chlorine. I can no longer see the steadiness of the water. And that blue is no longer enticing for me. I'm less motivated to get in a swimsuit and start swimming. Motivation is a temporary feeling. It is a fleeting impasse in which you feel momentarily motivated to do something because you saw, liked, responded, etc. But the reality is another person cannot motivate you. They cannot motivate you. There is nothing. Stephen Jarvis, who is incredible tax advisor for the Retirement Tax Services company that he runs and manages, and he travels all around the world world giving financial advisors incredible advice about tax planning and how to integrate that with their financial planning clients can do to motivate me to take on a marathon. Stephen is also, if you've ever had a one-on-one call with him, you'll see this total glory wall of all these medals he's won from doing all of these different marathons, triathlons, biathlons. And it's so wonderful to see how Stephen is so disciplined to take on each one of those marathons and competitive races. And I love talking to him about tax planning with my clients, but there's nothing that Stephen could ever say to me that would motivate me to enroll and do a marathon. I'm not a runner. I don't run. I don't run to something. I don't run away from something. It's just me. I'm not motivated to do that. A person has to be willing to be motivated. They have to be an equal participant in that engagement. And so while I'm super motivated to talk to Stephen about tax planning for clients, I have zero motivation to actually enroll and take on a marathon, no matter how many medals he adds to his collection. That's how motivation works. You have to have two people, one looking to light the fire and the other one needing and wanting the warmth of that flame. It is a two-party engagement. Next, you can aspire to be someone or to be like someone or to show a character trait that another person has. And this is when you have seen somebody walking the walk and talking the talk, or maybe they have something that you want in your possession as well. You can aspire to that level. You can see an example of greatness and you want to aspire to get there. In a lot of ways, that's what the Perfect RIA is all about. It's about the pursuit of perfection. It's about looking at a team and a network of financial advisors across the United States, throughout the United Kingdom, in New Zealand, Australia, pretty much every English-speaking country in which we see what other people are doing and we aspire to replicate that level of success. Do we know everything? No, absolutely not. I dread the day that omnipotence is achieved because I can't imagine a life where I'm not curious and passionate to learn more or to see other examples. So we aspire to replicate success. We talk a lot about that at the Perfect RIA. Do what works. Show me an example of somebody that is already doing this and it is successful. And then I'm going to go and replicate that process. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. I'm not going to tweak it. I'm just going to do exactly what works because that person had the success that I am aspiring to get to. Then later, after you've achieved that level of success, if you want to put a tweak on it, absolutely do so. But first, you must start with doing what works. The third level is inspiration. And this is the most powerful level ever created. And this is when you have lived a life so exemplary around the people you love and your team and your community and your clients and your country that anyone would refute a prejudice ever spoken about you because they have seen through your actions, through your commitment, through your discipline that you have inspired to be something better, to be something great. Are aspire and inspire synonymous? Not at all. Words matter, and this is why. Because when you are aspiring to do something, you have a strong feeling, you have a gut instinct, you have a driving force compelling you towards something. But when you inspire someone, that is because you have showed them through courage and bravery and discipline that something that in their life they are capable of taking action and control over and changing for themselves. There's a really big difference in the terminology. And so if you are looking at your team and constantly saying, how do I get you motivated? How do I really change your motivation? You're just not motivated enough. And you're using that motive word all of the time. You need to abandon it right away because you will never motivate another human being. You will never do it if they are not a willing participant. They must be willing to be motivated. Whenever I hire a new team member, I tell them that their professional career is a triangle, and there are 3 points to that triangle. Number 1 is education. Number 2 is financial resources in order to get you the education that you need to achieve greatness. The third is motivation. I can only give you 2 of those 3. I cannot motivate you. I can can give you the education. I can provide the financial resources or a path towards that so you can achieve greatness, but I can't and I won't waste my time trying to motivate you. That is what you have to bring to the table. And so, am I looking to motivate my team members? Never. Not possible. Not going to happen. Can I hopefully inspire them that they are able to take courage and change something and break inertia in their life in order to achieve a level of greatness that they are created and endowed to have? Yes, 100%. I hope I do that. I hope I humbly do that all of the time with my team. I put a lot of energy towards that because I believe it with every cell in my being that they are capable of a greatness that is far beyond their intellectual capacity to realize. But in knowing that, in preaching that, in showing up time after time after time, even when they don't ask me to, in order to make sure that they are getting everything that they need from me as a leader to be successful in their job, that does not mean I can motivate them. And so this is the rub. This is the problem with a lot of young advisors and young professionals entering career spaces. This is not exclusive to financial advisory. This is not exclusive to medicine. This isn't exclusive to law. It is an epidemic that has probably saturated the entire country. And there is that misnomer that when we have a lifestyle practice, when we have a work-life balance, when we are trying to avoid burnout, that means we are unwilling to do the grind to get us where we want to be. I want all of the glory of success, but I don't want to have to put in any of the time or make any of the sacrifices to get me where I want to be. And if you want a life of mediocrity, cool. It's always there. That's the easy way. That's the easy path. It's always there. Just pick up your feet, let it wash you down easy street, and it will be there. But so many times when I'm interviewing or discussing or recruiting or talking to young professionals in any industry, they tell me, oh, I went to all this school, I got all this education, I hustled through all of these professional credentialing and licensing, and now I want to make $1 million. But oh, by the way, I don't want to work that much because my family is too important to me, because my outside activities are too important to me. This is probably the most powerful reason why I have a lot of in-depth conversations with people at conferences and we talk about a lifestyle practice. Somehow along the way, lifestyle meant lazy. Lifestyle meant I only want to work 12 weeks out of the year and then I want the rest of the time to be off so I can be one-on-one with my family, because you just told me the second value, the second tenet inside the perfect RRA is to spend more time with the people that we love outside of work. This is where it gets muddy. This is where it gets confusing for people that aren't willing to be goal getters, that aren't willing to step up and have the discipline to get the work done that they need to get done in order to achieve their goals, in order to spend more time with their family outside of the office. And there's a lot of conflict. Oftentimes I'll be sitting with a young advisor and they'll be talking about the lifestyle practice. And then I'll have somebody a little bit older, maybe a Gen Xer next to me, and they'll be shaking their head in disbelief saying the younger generation doesn't want to work. And that isn't correct. The younger generation doesn't want to not work. They just don't understand where the balance is between work and life and how to show their tenacity, how to show their motivation, how to show their drive. Where the boomer or the Gen Xer, they know it. If you say, how do I show you that I'm motivated for this job? Guess what they're almost always going to say to you? Be the first to show up to work and the last to leave. That is the time and true expression of most boomers, most Gen Xers on teaching the younger generation how to outwork other people. And that is a shopkeeper mentality. That is about, I need to be the first one in and I need to be the last one out so everyone sees that I work harder than them. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't do that. I have a great work-life balance, but not because when I'm outside of Surge, I'm dinking off and doing whatever I want. Instead, I'm super hyper focused and driven to get the stuff that I've got to get done in the day. I don't waste time playing office. I've shared with you before that my office space is ideal for me, but it's not so ideal. I want to spend the whole day in my office avoiding my family. I don't like it that much. I want to go somewhere else in my house. I want to go be with my family. I want to go outside in this beautiful country that I live in. And even if you are the first to show up and the last to leave, I'll probably still have outworked you and just doing it in a shorter amount of time because I'm practicing really disciplined focus hours. So that's not the right answer. Showing up before everyone, leaving after everyone, and physically committing yourself to a job isn't the right answer on how we show grit, how we show tenacity, and how we show drive for our profession. So what is the right answer? How do you show your leadership team, the people in your office, that you are committed and that you do want to, and I'm just going to throw this out here because I hear it all the time, go earn $1 million a year. All right. So once my air quotes are put away, locked and loaded, how do you do it? Step number 1, you have to be a goal getter. You have to be a goal getter. You have to realize the goals and go get them. And a lot of people like to say this on their resume. I am highly driven and self-motivated, but I have rarely ever seen examples of that. If you are highly driven and self-motivated, then you are taking the time to look at the mission of the company, see what the values are, and see what the team goals are for that annual year. So at Shalansky & Associates, we set year-long goals. Here's what we want to be in the next year. Here's where we want to be in 3 years. And here's where we want to be in 5 years. We do not do a 10-year vision. We don't do a 10-year vision because I can't imagine who I'm going to be at 50 because I am nowhere where I was at 30 today. Maybe it's my limited imagination, but I'm open to too many possibilities to sculpt out what the next 10 years looks like. But a year, 3 years, 5 years, totally within my realm to go ahead and sculpt, shape, and see where I'm at and keep moving that line down, open to new possibilities, open to new opportunities as they come forward. So every single year at our firm, all the employees know what the goal is for that entire year. And then we break down those goals. We use the Entrepreneur Operating System, EOS. It's a great book. If you haven't read it and gone through all of their traction literature, please do so if you're looking for the right application to use in your office. So we use the EOS model. And as we set up these different goals for the year, we're going to break down each quarter what we need to go achieve. And those are our rocks. So if I have an employee that is truly self-motivated and highly driven, they are on top of that. They know what that mission is for the year. They have it written down in their home environment, wherever they're working from, because we have a lot of hybrid employees, or they put it at their office space inside of the workspace. And then they have each quarter's rocks broken down so they know exactly what is expected of them. If you're a financial advisor and you're working for RIA, because we are actively recruiting people to join our practice, then we've broken down what the financial advisor perfect week looks like. And so Monday through Thursday, what does that look like when we are not inside of Surge? What is the work your team, your clients, your leadership is expecting you to get done in that time frame? Now, generally it's about a half a day's worth of work. Why? Because we are really intentional that in our lifestyle practice, when we are not in Surge, we are being deliberate with the time that we have, which means if I give you all of your perfect week and you've got stuff to go get done and smash, go get the work done. I shouldn't have to check in or check out with you. If you really are self-motivated and driven, you know what the expectations are. You're not asking other people, what do you do? You have to be a goal getter. If you are a personal financial advisor working in our office, and you say, I have a goal of bringing on X amount of clients, then when we are outside of Surge, what are the steps you are taking to get those prospects in the door so that you can achieve your goals? Because during Surge, we're not always prospecting. We're really focused on the clients and the prospects that are already scheduled on our calendar, which means outside of Surge, you have a lot of time that you could be adding to your efforts in creating a prospect pipeline for you to reach your goals. Once that is outlined, it's up to you to be motivated to go achieve those. It's up to you to be the goal getter and get those things done. If I have to follow up and see where you're at with every single task and every single assignment, and this isn't questions, this isn't somebody coming to me and saying, hey, Jamie, I've got this idea. I'm not sure how to flesh it out. What should we do? Blah, blah, blah. But in our RIA, we're very specific about the prospecting that we're doing. We already have everything outlined. So if an employee is showing me that they are a goal getter, that they are highly motivated and disciplined, then they are crushing that time outside of Surge. They are being intentional when we are outside of Surge to spend as much time as possible mastering the ideas, mastering the concepts, adding to the prospecting, so that when we are in Surge, they are inching in greater strides towards achieving their goals. That would be the definition for me. And this applies not just to financial advisors, but all my team members. Are you a goal getter? All right. The second step that you could really show someone that you are driven and that you are self-motivated and you do want to do the grit and the grind to get you where you want to be, not at the sacrifice of spending time outside of work, shorting your family on quality time. That's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is spending more time with your family because you are so disciplined and intentional about the work that you're doing. You're not treating it lackadaisical. Sometimes I'll have an employee that has a deadline, and guess when they start the work? They start the work 1 or 2 days before that deadline. And then they'll come to me and say, Jamie, did you get all the materials? I had a couple of questions. I was up until, 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 a.m. working on this. And I have no sympathy whatsoever for an employee saying that, because when I ask them, when did you begin working on it? It's normally 2 or 3 days before the deadline. And if they didn't start the work at 6 a.m. or 5 a.m., they started the work at 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. Barring any type of crisis, if you're up late at night, it's because you didn't start your day early enough to get your work done, because you were playing office or dinking off or going to do all the other things that you think a lifestyle practice means. And now the result is that you are having to grind late at night, and you're having to do it after the kids go to bed, after your wife's in bed. And that was your fault. You weren't being a goal getter. You weren't being disciplined with the time given to you, and therefore you have made a decision to put your family as second by thinking that you're putting them first. Because staying up till 1 or 2 in the morning to complete work that should have been done weeks or months ago does not benefit your family the next day. You are useless the next day. You're a zombie walking around in a lot of fog. You're a little bit cranky, and all of these other things that could have been avoided. So if you are a goal getter, you will not put yourself in that position. Instead, you will be up early and you will be getting your work done, and you will get it done way before anyone has to even assign a deadline to a task, because you are intentional. So if you want to show how you are a goal getter, that is one important step to showing it. And it doesn't mean you have to show up before everyone else, and it doesn't mean you have to be the last one to leave. But it does mean you have to live a life of intentionality, and only you can decide to do that. Nobody can do it for you. I can create a financial advisor's perfect week and tell them exactly what they should be doing in 15-minute intervals, but I can't physically make them go and do it. You have to be willing to do it. You have to be so committed to your goals that you don't need your hand held to go achieve them. The second way that you can show someone that you are really committed to the goals, you really want to be in that lead advisor position, you really want to be in that lead relationship manager, that lead operations position, wherever you're at in your career, then you need to create and innovate. So a lot of times, especially if you're walking into an established practice, I tell all my employees, hey, your first 60 days of employment is the honeymoon period. You're going to be so excited. You're going to be a little bit overwhelmed, but you're going to start thinking of all these other ways that we could modify what we are doing, because you know, after barely knowing us, how to do it so much better. And half of your ideas are going to be glorious, and the other half are going to be laughable. So what I want you to do is I want you to get a journal out, and I want you to write down every new idea, every new point, every new concept that you want to add. But let's not address those until after 60 days. Because after 60 days, you're beginning to get the pulse. You're beginning to understand a little bit more about what's happening and why it's happening in the office. So the first 60 days, just journal it. And then once that time comes to its conclusion, let's sit down and pound them out. And I would love to hear new ideas. I do not think I have the answer to everything. I don't have everything figured out. And a new set of eyes, a new set of perspective could be really powerful for me. It could solve problems I didn't even know existed for my team. So I love new ideas, just at the right time and in the right place to deliver them. So I love when somebody comes to me and they want to create and innovate, especially with financial advisors, because there is a lot of ways that junior or protege advisors could add to the value of the firm, could show their leadership team that they are ready for that primary senior role in the financial advisor capacity. They could be adopting new value adds. They could be creating marketing materials. They could be adding to client value adds. They could be reviewing the high touches. There are a lot of ways that prospects are communicated with outside of Surge that a younger person, a junior advisor, a protege advisor, whoever that person is, could come up with ways to reach them and really deliver value outside of Surge. So I'm looking for a person that's really driven and passionate and said, hey, have we ever thought about this? Or what if I took on the company newsletter? What if I started doing the company updates with videos? What if we incorporated getting pictures of the team members in the lobby? What if? So where's that creation? Where's that innovation? Where are you taking the burden off of the leadership team in order to show that you are driven and passionate about embracing ways for the company to grow? If you are continually waiting for somebody in a leadership capacity to tell you what they expect of you, you're not driven. And that's okay. It's just something that you need to come to a realization with, that maybe you don't have the drive to move up in your career. Maybe that's just who you are, and that's okay. There's a place in most teams for that, but don't set goals you have no chance of achieving because you have no drive to achieve them. And that would be for anyone in any profession ever. One of the worst things I think the military does is they allow people to move up in rank just because they have enough time underneath their belt. That really sets the tone that if you just stay where you're at doing what you're doing, somebody along the way is going to feel obligated to bump you up into a higher bracket. And that's not the reality in the private workforce. If you want to move up in your professional career, move is the verb. You have to move. You have to take action. You have to break inertia. You have to find ways that you could be a goal getter and that you can create and innovate. And then third, you got to be a team player. You've got to rally behind the entire organization, because if you really are driven and if you really are motivated to achieve your goals, but you don't bring the team up and around you, you are going to find that you are sailing a ship or walking into battle all by your lonesome. Success is magnified when leaders get involved with team members and team members feel passionate towards helping one another and everyone else achieve the greater good. You will have mediocre success if you don't have team members that feel that they can really rally behind the goal and help one another achieve those goals. And this happens in so many ways. In the financial advisory world, I know operations personnel that really won't make a referral to their own firm because their senior advisor, whoever they've been working with, has been out of the office so much they feel the clients are being neglected and it takes days or weeks to get back to them, back to the client. And so they don't want to refer anyone to their own practice of where they're working at because they think the financial advisor does a mediocre job of helping clients. And this is true of financial advisors who have prospect goals. If they don't rally behind and really get immersed in their relationship managers, those relationship managers aren't going to be motivated to help fill your calendar full of prospects. They will not go the extra mile for you because you never went 1 inch for them. I tell all of my team members, one day I may have to ask you to go to war with me, and I need to trust that you will because I showed up to every battle with you. I fought side by side with you. If I have an employee whose roof is coming down literally over their head in their house, how am I helping them with the insurance? How are we talking about emergency cash reserves? If I've got an employee who has been assigned to different bases, great. Do we need to organize moving companies? What's happening where we need to shift your lifestyle? Do we need to look at new education systems for the kids? What are all of those little day, every single day situations that you can show your team you're showing up for them? Now, do I need to be their best friend? Do I need to show up at all the birthday parties? Hell no, absolutely not. But do I need to show them stewardship? Do I need to show them leadership? Do I need to show them that I am there for them in times of crisis? You bet I do. And every leader out there in the TPR Nation needs to really resonate with that. If you want other people to show up for you, you sure as hell had better show up for them long before they ever even dreamt of asking you for help. Building a lifestyle perfect RIA is not about laziness. It's not about, oh, look at how cool my lifestyle is when I'm not meeting with clients because the work I do is so easy. It is about being deliberate and intentional with all of my time. The time I give clients, the time I give team members, the time I give my family members. It is all intentional. It is all deliberate. And so you need to learn that level of focus. If you are driven, if you really are self-motivated, if you are questioning why a senior hasn't let you move up into that and you feel stuck and maybe in a rut, and maybe it's because you came in a junior capacity or a protege capacity, or maybe you're waiting. Do you know how many times financial advisors say to me that their long-term financial plan is waiting for that senior advisor to die? That is a terrible plan. If your plan revolves around somebody dying, it's a terrible plan. You do not have to wait for somebody to die. If that senior is really questioning whether or not you're ready, it's because you have not shown you are ready. If you are a professional working in a particular career path, wondering why you're stuck, why you're not moving up, why you're not in that lead role when you have time and experience and maybe intellectual capacity to elevate your career, it is because you have not physically demonstrated that you want this, that you are committed to outworking and outgrinding everyone else around you to get where you want to be. I do not care how many times you write down or verbalize your goals. If your actions are contradictive of your goals, then you are stuck in that frame of life. You are stuck in that transitional piece forevermore because your actions must match up to the words that you are saying. You must break inertia. So how do you do that? Here at the Perfect RA, you know that we are 100% committed to giving you actionable items that you can take right now in order to transform your life, your practice, so that you can deliver more value, spend more time with your family, and be highly profitable in the process. So if you want to 10x where you're at today, in order to get out of that protege or junior or low-level position that you feel you're stuck in, then take action. Do these 3 things right now. Make a mission and really get yourself around it. Number 1, you have to be a goal getter. You need to sit down. If your firm doesn't have year-long goals, what's the next 90 days goals? What's the next 30-day goals? What are the goals that you need to do in the next 7 days for that to be the most successful week that you've ever had? What can you verbalize and then take action on achieving in order to be a goal getter? Second of all, create and innovate. If you are constantly looking for ways that the company can grow, your team can grow, the professionals can grow, you can add more value to your clients, then you are showing someone that you are really thirsty for that success, that you are really willing to see the company grow to a level of success that a lot of senior advisors have worked so hard to achieve their entire career. They need to physically see that you want to create and innovate. The third thing that you have to do, especially if you're in an enterprise office, and it's even if you have 1 or 2 employees, it doesn't matter, but you got to get the team wrapped around this. You have to have a battle cry. You all have to be committed to a mission. If you are a solopreneur and you are just one person out there to take care of themselves and you only care about your goals and not the firm goals, then don't expect the firm to rally around you. You have to rally around them first. You have to show up before being asked. The number 1 reason employees leave firms in the United States of America, it's not money. It's culture. Culture matters. Team environments matter. People stay where they feel appreciated and inspired to become great. They stay at organizations whose mission they understand and they can get behind. If that does not exist in your financial planning practice, make it. Create it. Do something innovative to really get the team wrapped behind that. I picked on the military a little, but now I'm going to give them a great compliment. I was sitting with a lieutenant commander and I was telling him I was having trouble in one of the organizations that I'm associated with, getting a leadership team member involved in the company culture. And I said, I've really got to pick your brain on this. I don't know how to do it. How did you do it when you got sent to a new base? Maybe it was Japan when you were stationed there and you brought all of your leadership team together, but you you knew just one person really wasn't showing up for the culture. They really weren't getting it, and the troops felt it and knew it. And he told me, he said, mandatory fun. This is where I would grab my wife, and she was sitting there too. She said, yep, every Friday afternoon at 3:00, we had a mandatory barbecue. You didn't have to stay the whole time, but you had to stay for an hour. And when people came together and they started mandatorily participating in axe throwing and barbecuing and cornhole, that people started to relax and have more fun and interact with each other. Play is a significant part of trusting someone. And so he would require this mandatory fun that everyone comes and participates in an effort to change a culture that was established long before his arrival. If you have been in the same job for years and have taken none of these actions and are wondering if it's too late, it is never too late. You can do this now. You can take all 3 of those action steps and really formulate a plan to be that highly driven, to be that highly focused, to really 10x wherever you're at in your life today. But if you don't do these, you will be stuck in mediocrity. That is just it. And it will be a self-guided tour through the life that you could have had, because all of this, 100% of what we're talking about today is within your direct control. A lot of times when we sit here with the Perfect RIA and we give out these incredible value adds or these different ideas, a lot of you out there in the financial advisory space take that and are super motivated. Maybe you're even inspired to go achieve something, and you bring it back to a compliance, you bring it back to a team members that really don't want to take action on it, and it gets deadlocked in some type of compliance issue, or maybe getting all the team onboarded issue, whatever that issue is that stops you from taking action. That is not today. Today, all of these things apply to you, and I know they do because you listened all the way through this. And if you're wondering yourself, a lot of times I get this from different people that I know outside of my company that work with me in different capacities. They'll say, hey, I listened to your podcast. Was this about me? So you know what they say, if it feels like a trap, you're already in one. Of course, if it feels like it applies to you, then it probably does. You probably are this person. You are probably this person who needs to take this advice more than anyone else. And if you think you aren't this person, then I guarantee you know somebody that is, and you need to go right now and hit the ellipses and share this podcast with them so that they can take immediate steps towards changing their lives and their professional careers. Okay, TPR Nation, this has been Jamie Shalansky in an episode of Worlds to Conquer. Go find people who share your values and change the world.
Hold on before we go. Something that you need to know. This isn't tax, legal, or investment advice. That isn't our intent. Information designed to change lives. Financial planning can make you thrive. Start today, don't think twice. Be a better husband, father, mother, and wife. The Perfect RIA, the perfect